What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin and today I bring you my album review of Kate Bush's Hounds of Love, released in 1985. From the outset, I'm going to tell you, okay? I think that this album is perfect. I don't know if I've used that word to describe an album yet in my album reviews, but let it be known from the very beginning, I'm a very big fan of this album. Like, really big. I think this album is perfect in pretty much every aspect. There may be some songs that I like more than others, but as a whole, this comes together so well, and it's such an accomplishment and such a masterpiece. There's a lot of good to talk about in this one. Of course, if you missed it, you can listen to my first listen of every song on this album. You can check that out. This is such a monumental album, and I know it already has a lot of acclaim, you know, in the critical side of things. I already know that, everyone knows that, yes. But it deserves it. I feel like every song in this album, from side A, in which we get like 5 masterpieces of songs, shorter songs, more accessible songs, but they're also good in their own right. And then of course, in side B of the album, we have the ninth wave, this beautiful suite of so much drama, so much good songwriting. There is so much depth in this album. There's so much depth, especially in the ninth wave, that is as deep as the sea in which Kate envisions herself. I know it's broken up into songs. I could never listen to any of the songs on its own. I consider it one piece of work, as many of you guys also consider it. So from the very first song, and a song that I'm sure many people know, most people know if you know Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill. I'm not going to talk much about that song. I think it kind of speaks for itself. Kate's singing is phenomenal in the song. The chorus is very catchy. Her work on the Fairlight synth is so standoutish. The guitar work, the drums. I mean, this song actually just comes together very well. I don't know how much in depth I need to go into it because you guys know it. You can listen to my first listen for the specifics, and that really goes for any song. But with this one specifically, I just feel like it's such a good opener to the album. And the songs that follow keep that same energy. They may shift the energy, they may transform the energy, but they keep the energy. It has a very unique main riff and main theme that I think will like get stuck in your head for days. Like I mentioned before, the singing is just powerful. The lyrics are thought-provoking. It makes you think a little bit, which is what thought-provoking means. It's just an all-around good song that works on both a pop level and an art level. And I think that that's one thing that a lot of people will find satisfactory in this album, is that yes, it's very poppy in its sensibilities, it's very poppy in its structures, it's very catchy. Absolutely. It can be easily played on the radio, a lot of these songs. But let's be honest, the songs have so much depth in them and so much meaning and work and detailing in them as well, and artfulness, that even if you're more of a prog person, even if you're more of an art music person, you can find so much meaning in these songs as well. The title track, Hounds of Love, is one of my favorite songs on the album. Just the way, I don't even know, the drumming and the percussion, the way that it causes this anxious kind of feeling, like Kate is being chased, like we are being chased, along with lyrics of Kate running away. What is she running away from? The hounds of love. Scared of what love could do. I love the harmonizations and the vocalizations by Kate that sound like dogs when she's like, not like that. I feel like in this song we really get the first like big spark of just how emotional her singing can be. And that's something that I find throughout the whole album. Listen, Kate, she puts a lot of sauce on her singing, okay? You guys know what I mean by sauce? I mean like, she puts a lot of sauce on her singing, okay? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But I think that she does it in a different way than perhaps a lot of other high-end singers would do. For example, if you think of like a diva singer, like Mariah Carey, okay? She puts a lot of sauce on her songs. She puts a lot of sauce on her vocals. It's like she's going to Sunny's, okay? See, whereas a lot of singers I feel put on that showmanship in their vocal just to showcase what they can do, Kate's doing it not to show you what she can do, but she's doing it to show you what she feels. And that is the main difference I hear when it comes to Kate's sauce and everyone else's secret sauce. The rugged back and forth strings in this song really make this one a very special track and worthy of being called the title track. And when it comes to her singing, she's not afraid to be honest with us She's not afraid to be honest with herself. She's not afraid to be vulnerable and allow that vulnerability to show in her creativity and in her music. The Big Sky. Now, you guys know on my first listen of The Big Sky, I enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite song on the album. You guys also heard me say at the beginning that this is a perfect album. This is why. The Big Sky is still my least favorite song on the album, but I'm not gonna skip it. I still feel that it's good. It's a little bit repetitive, sure. It's not as interesting to me, but it's so positive, and it's this nice bit of sunshine that we get in the album, before the next song especially. But it's a very bright spot on the album that also leaves smiles all around. And with the big drums in that song specifically, I think it really helps kind of push the energy of what was being built before in other songs even stronger into this one, and really ask us to daydream. Remember the times that we would lie on our backs and just look at the sky, look at the clouds, and what do you see? Looking up at the big sky. We can still look up at the big sky. This isn't something that you can only do when you're a child. You still have imagination. You can still let those creative juices flow, let that creativity flow. Allow that imagination to manifest itself into whatever you want it to become. Then we actually get to my favorite song on this side of the album, Mother Stands for Comfort. I think that this is such a phenomenal song. Now, I didn't look up the timelines or see when they met up or when they worked together, but Kate Bush has worked with Peter Gabriel. Okay, this song, tell me if you think so, reminds me a lot of Intruder. That same kind of uneasy feeling, that heart-throbbing percussion, the glass-breaking sound effects that are played throughout the song, that cause a very uncanny feeling throughout. But I've mentioned it on my first listen, that bass work is just, that bass work makes this song. I love Kate. I love the percussion, I love the sound effects, I love everything in that song. I really do. But we need to talk about that bass, because the bass is what brings the soul into that song. The song talking about a mother who just wants to comfort their child. Now, the child apparently did something pretty bad, but a mother's natural instinct is to protect and take care of that child, comfort them in their pain. And Kate's singing during this song specifically really matches that. Actually, tonally, everything matches that, because Kate's singing is a little bit uneasy, but in the chorus, as slightly creepy and haunting as it sounds, it also does sound very comforting to me. And that's kind of the same feeling I feel with the bass. The bass moves, it slithers throughout the song in a slightly unsettling way, but at the same time is very warm and it's very relaxing. Cloud Busting, another standout, another spectacular song from Kate Bush. I mean, it's knockout after knockout after knockout. This is probably one of the songs that a lot of people also know, besides Running Up That Hill. And Kate magically dances between the art and the pop. It's catchy, but at the same time it's deep. Listen to the evolution and momentum of the strings as they build up in this song. Listen to her voice, which is so passionate. There's so many feelings in her voice, specifically talking about cloud busting, and there's a whole nother story behind the actual story of the lyrics. But think about the chorus of the song. The way that she says, I just know that something good is going to happen. The amount of faith that she has in her voice really shows through. The amount of hope that she has, it comes through so clearly in her voice. It has slight weird elements, sure, but she handles it so well. She handles it with respect, with emotion, with due diligence. It's kind of like an actor in a movie. If they get the role of the talking tree, you know, they can take that in two ways. They can take the role and just like stand there and be like, you know, are you leaving? Or they can take the role to heart. They can try and understand the motivations of the character, how they're going to interact with other characters, the setting they're in, the themes of the movie, and they can really take the part to heart. I kind of feel that way with Kate Bush, in the sense that she takes themes and ideas that may seem a little bit out there, but she's able to manipulate them in a way, she's able to create them in a way in which the songs, the musical version of those ideas, songs, are so well produced, so well conceived, that it touches your heart. And I feel like Cloud Busting, rightfully so, feels like the sun coming out from behind a stormy cloud. It's another bright spot on the album. Like a literal, uplifting bright spot on the album. Oh man. Whew. And then we get into the ninth wave. which is such a masterpiece. I don't know how else to say that it's perfect. It's just perfect. Like I said, I don't think that you should listen to one song in the Ninth Wave on part B of the album. It's a suite with many different themes, a connecting and overarching story, but each song plays such a major role in the totality of the song. From the opening, Dream of Sheep, lonely piano work by Kate, her voice just lost in the sea. As we're thrown into the story of Kate being lost at sea, thrown overboard, not knowing how, but ending up in the water, and her story of survival. What's her mind going through at this time? What is she thinking? What is she imagining? And we get all of that in such unique metaphors, from waking the witch and her imagining herself as a witch being drowned and accused, to being trapped under ice and looking at her own reflection under the ice. With under ice, now the panic starts to set in. Now the anxiety starts to build up. The tensions really start to rise. Will Kate surrender herself to the sea, or will she decide to live on? It's the fear factor of the strings, it's the tension of the music as it surrounds her that really artfully brings this to light. I think that lyrically, this is not only one of the strongest pieces in the Ninth Wave, but also one of the strongest pieces in the album. And then you get that panic-inducing moment when she realizes that the person or the thing under ice is actually her. Like, she's looking at herself. There's such a unique psychological element to this song. I don't know, there's something good about it. Waking the Witch is a stark wake-up call, a stark contrast from where we just were. We have these swirling voices and distant noises going on. All the voices are people from different moments in her life telling her to wake up, whether it be family, whether it be lovers, will it be friends. It's interesting, all these different voices from different paths of her life coming together to tell her to wake up. It's a very unique element in the storytelling that she brings in, that she does so many times throughout this album. And then you get this just insanity-inducing drop with these bells and guitars and piano that just swirl and become abstract and clouded. Like, the effects and the production in this album is sublime. Even throughout the musical part of the song, we still get sound effects that tell us the story is continuing on, such as the helicopter sound effects near the ending of this song, as the rescuers are trying to reach her. So she has such an interesting way of weaving story and music together. I'm very curious as to more of her albums and more of her music, to see if there are any like that are just as accomplished as this one. Watching You Without Me is also a very powerful song, especially in its message. We have Danny Thompson on bass, once again just ringing it out. I love the bass. You guys know I love the bass. But this is like the calm and serene moment, just a little bit of relief, a little bit of inner thoughts and inner turmoil, really, as she imagines watching her lover move on in life, watching him as he goes on. Does he even know that I'm gone? What's he gonna do now? This song features absolutely gorgeous singing from Kate as well. One of her best in my opinion. And I think one of the coolest effects is at the end of this song when she's crying out, trying to talk to him, trying to get his attention, and her voice becomes distorted. Her voice becomes lost. It's almost like her connection to this world is starting to fade away. The Jig of Life would sound a little awkward in any other hands, which I think is so cool. This Irish jig that almost comes out of nowhere would sound kind of awkward if anyone else did it. But the way that, once again, Kate weaves into it, Kate moves into it, it works. Because now it's like her affirmation of life. Now it's like her energy is slightly restored to the point, you know what? I am gonna live. I'm gonna try. I don't know if I will live, but I'm not gonna give up. She's gonna control her destiny. She regains a little bit of her strength. She becomes a little more resilient, and she's motivated to continue on. Perhaps because of what she imagined her life or her lover's life would have been like if she never returned. Kate said specifically about this song that at this point in the story, it's the future self of this person coming to visit them to give them a bit of help here. So in this story, in which Kate is sinking or floating in the ocean, there's so many other things going on in her mind that she tells so many stories and she lives so many lives throughout her music that even in this, the point of this song is her future self is telling her, hey, you better live. We got a lot to live for. We got a lot of life ahead of us. You better pull through, girl. Hello Earth is one of my favorite moments in the suites. It's one of my favorite songs in the suites. I love the choir-like vocals and harmonies that come in and out. And they're kind of welcoming Kate back into reality, trying to get her attention, trying to get her focus, trying to pull her back from the brink of death, back into life. And the voices continue to tell her, get out of the water, get out of the water. And it's interesting how earlier they were just like normal voices, like telling her to get out. But in this part of the suites, they're singing Get Out. It's an interesting shift in the tones. And then there's a bit of a fade to black musically in a sense. And we're left with some German. And the German says, deeper, deeper, somewhere in the depth, there is light. So perhaps her floating in the water. Yes, that's the physical part of it. You know, her fight for survival in the water. But somewhere in the depth, perhaps internally, is the light. Is the thing you're looking for, is the thing that'll save you. And from that moment, we switch directly into the morning fog, which is a beautiful celebration of life. Kate, she has survived her night in the water. She has been rescued. She is kissing sand. She is, so grateful for her family. She's counting her blessings. And it's a perfect ending to the story. It's a perfect ribbon on the end of this magnificent present that we've been given. It's a very bright and sunny song representing the contrast between the darkness that she was in when she was in the water and now that she's rescued. How happy and overjoyed this song is, this part of the suite is as she's rescued. And once again, we get some really, really nice bass work that really captures the warmth. I imagine the bass work in this part of the song as like the rescue blanket around her. Like that's the warmth that's comforting her. It's not Mother, it's the bass. And even at this moment, her vocals still display a little bit of weakness because you can imagine someone that's been in the ocean, been in the cold water for all night, they're not going to sound that strong. They're going to sound weak, a little frail, but there's still strength in there. She conveys so much with just her voice. It is so interesting just listening to her because she is able to convey the idea of a survivor being lost at sea and being cold and near death, but also able to portray in the same breath the strength that they needed to get through that night, the courage they needed to stand up, to get up, and decide to live. And the guitar work in this song just sparkles. This whole song feels like being rescued, being laid down on the beach. The sun is shining down on you. The seagulls are singing, and life is gonna be okay. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, I think the album's perfect. But we need to talk about my favorite lyrics, we need to talk about my favorite moments, and we need to do my song rankings. This is going to be really easy, by the way. Okay, so the lyrics, it was a bit hard. The lyrics were a bit hard on this one. My favorite lyrics are from the song Watching You Without Me. And it's actually the whole song. I think the lyrics are especially hard-hitting. I think it's something that, even though I don't think any of us, and hopefully not any of us, have ever been lost in the ocean like that, but the idea of wondering how life would move on without you. How would your family react without you? If you've ever been in a dangerous situation, wondering, okay, how do I contact my family? Am I able to contact my family? What are they doing right now? Do they even know I'm out here? I think it's a somewhat relatable situation, even if you've only imagined it. And it's just the way that she writes the lyrics, the way that really she delivers those lyrics, I find just very strong. I'm sorry, those are my favorite lyrics, and I couldn't choose one set within them. It was just kind of the whole thing. My favorite moment in the album, I'm actually choosing two because I can cheat like that. My favorite moment in the album, my first one, is just the bass in Mother Stands for Comfort. I'm sorry, I love the bass work, I love the whole song. I like the way that her voice works with the bass, the percussion, the sound effects, the snare sounds, it all just works together, okay? I'll like Mother Stands for Comfort. My other favorite moment, I'm really cheating on this one, is just the whole ninth wave, guys. It's just the whole thing. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just the whole thing. It's that good. My favorite moment is a 20-minute suite. Yeah, deal with it. And then when it gets to my song rankings, this is going to be fun. My song rankings are as follows. Ninth Wave at the top. Mother Stands for Comfort, right below it. Hounds of Love, Cloud Bursting, Running Up That Hill, Big Sky. Now, even though Big Sky is at the bottom, and it's my least favorite, it's still a good song. So, guys, I don't know about you. I don't know what everyone else thinks about this album. I think this album's perfect. I think this album is exciting. It's dramatic. It's theatrical. It's artful. It's poppy. It's catchy. It has everything. I think it has something for everybody. So, yeah. This has been one of the most impressive albums that I've listened to doing this channel. But I always want to know what you guys think. What do you think of this album? Does she have one that you prefer more? What are your song rankings? What are your favorite lyrics? What are your favorite songs? What do you think about the ninth wave? Were you just as annoyed that I had to cut up the ninth wave as I was? It was so annoying. I had to cut up the ninth wave on that song reaction. I released the full one, but only certain people in certain countries can see it. So that's kind of annoying. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me here. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, for your patience in me doing the album reviews. I hope that you're having a wonderful night. Hope you're having a fantastic morning, a beautiful day. Thank you so much for the donations to the channel as well and for everything. Just sticking around. Just like the video. That's all I ask. Just like the video and subscribe. Why haven't you subscribed yet? Guys, have a wonderful night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.